great meeting today. And as part of the general evaluation, we have 3 great evaluators who will be joining me in a second to work with our speeches. The first one is Mr. Lathan Woods, evaluating Mr. Steve Franco.
I believe I'm supposed to greet everyone, but lucidly I need to greet Steve. How are you, guy?
Excellent.
I thoroughly enjoyed your speech. Your objective was to effectively expound upon a topic using lucid research and data regarding a topic. I think you accomplished your goal. Points of praise. Your lucid display of quotes was phenomenal. Your testimony was emotive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I got your point. Phenomenal use of quotes, as I said before. Even your pacing and reflection. I do like how you pace yourself when you breathe. And, it's a way of kind of pacing yourself through your speech. I think that's phenomenal. I know we've spoken before in our private times in regards to the things that you're desiring to work on and improve upon. I think you're definitely progressing in those areas. Points of polish, my friend. You could have displayed a more effective or lucid way in your speech when it comes to your structure. I think your structure of your speech was a little cloudy, like the cup, when it comes down to your main points as far as what you want to kind of drive home. Secondly, I know we've spoken about your nervous twitch that you think is in your lip. It's actually in your eye. Your eye twitches. Like when you get nervous, and a great way to overcome that is to take a deep breath and breathe and relax a little bit more. Also, because you have a snarl, and as nice and amicable as a guy that you are, you have a snarl when you talk. It's almost like the snarl when people are upset with you, and they're trying to say something nice, and they get a snarl. So you have a snarl that you may want to kind of like just look at, and the lip bites. So all that works together when it comes down to your nervous tension within yourself. So I would say definitely just breathe, relax, and laugh at yourself some kind of way without laughing at us. Audibility, your voice dynamics, I would say improve upon those when it comes down to being more audible so that you can have more lucidity and driving home some of your points. Kind of monotone is always here. And then there's also points when in your statements you drop off at the end. It's almost like you give up on the thought, you just drop, you cause your volume kind of drop off. You're like, yeah, like abort is what we say, where you just jump ship off the boat. So in conclusion, my friend, I would definitely say phenomenal speech. You're definitely growing, you're definitely improving on your speech skills, and I salute you in your quest to be honest, respectful, and to persevere, because you definitely have shown that in your speeches and also in your life. You're definitely an inspiration to me, and thanks for being a great friend.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Our second evaluator is Ms. Ann Starrette. She will be evaluating Eric Harrison.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and Mary. We're so glad you're here. It's my pleasure to evaluate Eric today. This was his icebreaker, and his goal was just to introduce himself to us. That is the main goal for him to introduce himself. Eric, my goodness, what a story you have to tell. Really a tremendous story. I saw a man that didn't survive, that you really thrived. And the big thing that I got from your story was not only is God good all the time, but for goodness sakes, learn the lessons. I almost did not. Finally, I woke up and learned the lessons. And you had quite a few transitions, and I hope I have time to mention those. But you brought to light the nooks and crannies. I especially appreciated the line, I was baptized by water, but not by fire. You knew something wasn't right. You'd been baptized, but something was still not right. And then you said you wanted a course correction, and you gathered your family. And the harder you tried, everything kept falling apart. And not long after that, your wife said, I don't love you anymore. And then that whisper, that you were paying attention to hear the whisper, to gather the information. So I just applaud that. you were able to transition with all that. Absolutely great preparation. You did speak clearly and audibly. You could have used a little more emotion, but this had to be a painful story to tell. So I gathered that very much. The conclusion, you had a lucidity, a flow, a good beginning, a body, and a close. A couple points of polish. You may, since you did not need to not use notes, you could have put your notes here and moved from side to side rather than holding on in front. So that is one point. Or you could have put them on cards and maybe flip them or something, but move from side to side. That would have been helpful. I really loved your transitional words. Climb, slide, crash. If they could have been more prominent to help us notice when you were transitioning from one thought to the next. I also really enjoyed the thing that you said at the very end, learn the lessons. That was important to me. So your message to us, God is good all the time. Through the climb, through the slide, through the crash, learn the lessons. Thank you, Eric.
Amen.
Third evaluator is Mr. Matthew James, evaluating Darlene Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, and Darlene. I am so proud of you, I could burst. You stood up to your fears, and you won. I cannot say how privileged I feel to have been here to witness that triumph. It was a great way for me to start my day. Thank you for the privilege of watching what you did. The most lucid message you delivered in your icebreaker was the message you delivered to your own feeders when you told them to shut up and sit down. I got a very lucid idea about how afraid she was before the meeting when she was talking about what she was trying to accomplish, and she actually got teared up as she talked about the anticipating standing up here in front of you. I would have never known that you were feeling that kind of emotional turmoil if you hadn't had that conversation with me ahead of time. And just so that you know I'm not being flattering to you, I want to give you a lucid list of some of the things that you did right. First of all, you gave your Toastmaster a very effective introduction. It's always the responsibility of the speakers to provide an introduction for the Toastmaster to present you to the club. You did that very well. I didn't see any nervous shifting of your weight from side to side. I didn't see any distracting gestures. I didn't see any kind of things that let me know that you were really on edge. You didn't offer us any bear with me appeals about your covering up your nervousness. You didn't rush or garble your words. You enunciated your words with lucidity, and you painted clear pictures for us with your memories. You really brought us into your life, and I'm so grateful for that privilege. Your vocal power is going to improve with a greater experience, and so I'm looking forward to how your power is going to increase. Let me give you 4 ideas about how to continue conquering the nervousness that you feel. Breathing deeply and rhythmically is very important, not only right before you speak, but also throughout every day that you live. Breathing is the lifeblood of a speaker's vocal power. Imagining your audience's faces and your eye contact with them is enormously important before you speak. Don't just imagine the room. Imagine yourself touching each person eye to eye, and think that through before you stand in place. Prepare an emergency procedure. The worst thing that can happen to you probably isn't going to happen to you. But if it does happen to you, what will you do? Think that through ahead of time so that whenever the unlikely does perhaps surprise you, you've got something that you can go to. And 4th, schedule your next speech as soon as possible. Push yourself toward your embarrassing mistake and survive it. Do it afraid, like Julie Tittle said. If you can communicate with that kind of lucidity when you are that afraid, when you get comfortable and confident, there's no stopping this one. Thank you.
goals in this club. The first one is to add value. You just saw that.
Yes.
Great evaluations make great speakers. Just saw that. And we are growing, and I'm encouraged by Eric and Darlene with this great 2 icebreakers today. I want to ask Cindy Washington, our grammarian, to please give us her report.